The rooftop of the Grand Meridian shimmered under city lights, a world of wealth, laughter, and empty flattery. Crystal glasses clinked, cameras flashed, and waiters floated through the glow like ghosts. At the head table, Jordan Pierce, dressed in a tailored white suit, checked his phone quietly, unread messages, market alerts, silence. Across from him, Vanessa Caldwell, glass in hand, felt ignored. The billionaire's sister wasn't used to being invisible. "You could at least pretend to care," she snapped, voice sharp enough to slice through the jazz. When Jordan looked up, calm but unreadable, she flinched, and her hand slipped. Red wine cascaded across his shirt like blood against snow. Gasps. A flashbulb popped. Someone whispered, "Oh my God." Vanessa stammered, I didn't mean..." Her brother, Charles Caldwell, laughed too loudly. Vanessa gets passionate. Jordan dabbed his collar with a napkin, his voice steady as steel. "I'm sure she does." The rooftop went silent. No music, no chatter, just tension thick enough to taste. But when Jordan reached for his phone, the Caldwell Empire's fate was already sealed. Earlier that day, the deal everyone in the city was watching had come down to one signature. Jordan Pierce, CEO of Pierce Tech, sat across from the board of Caldwell Holdings, $2.4 billion on the table. Pending tonight's gala for the public announcement, he shook hands with Charles Caldwell, polite, steady, unreadable. To Jordan, it was just business. To the Caldwells, it was bragging rights. That evening, Jordan arrived early at the Grand Meridian, dressed simply but sharp. No entourage, no ego. He paused to thank the catering staff, noticing a janitor's daughter helping refill water glasses. When Vanessa Caldwell passed by, she barely looked at the child, muttering, "Get someone to clean this mess." Charles, surrounded by reporters, laughed too loudly. "We invest in people, not problems." The words hit harder than intended. Jordan said nothing, but his eyes lingered on the reflection of the chandeliers in his untouched glass of water. It reminded him of nights watching his mother scrub floors for men just like this. As the gala began, whispers fluttered through the crowd. "That's Jordan Pierce, the self-made billionaire." Vanessa froze mid-sip. The man she'd mocked earlier now commanded the room. She tried to recover, leaning over to make small talk, but pride turned to panic. Her voice sharpened, her laugh too loud, a desperate show of control. And then came the spill, the silence, the stain. Cliffhanger. No one knew. The man she humiliated was also the man signing her family's biggest deal. Vanessa's cheeks flushed as whispers rippled through the crowd. Cameras clicked like rain on glass. She laughed awkwardly, lifting her glass again. "Oh, come on," she said too loudly. "It's just a shirt, right?" Jordan looked at her, calm, unreadable, and smiled faintly. He didn't say a word. His silence was louder than any insult. Across the table, Charles Caldwell clenched his jaw. "Vanessa," he hissed, pulling her aside. "Do you realize who that man is?" She blinked. "Some tech guy, right?" "He's the tech guy, Jordan Pierce. The one signing our $2.4 billion merger." Her face drained. "You're kidding." But it was too late. The PR team huddled by the balcony, their phones buzzing non-stop as the footage of her wine accident began spreading online. One caption read, "Caldwell sister humiliates investor at charity gala." Meanwhile, Jordan's phone vibrated. His legal team's message glowed on the screen. "Your call. Finalize or withdraw." He stood, still stained in red, and walked slowly toward the podium. Microphones adjusted, spotlights followed. The chatter dimmed to a hush. "Some investments," Jordan began, voice smooth as glass, "are about numbers. Others are about values." Every eye fixed on him. The crowd leaned in, sensing something monumental. He continued, "Tonight reminded me that wealth can build towers, but it can also build walls. The choice is ours." Charles felt his throat tighten. Vanessa couldn't look up. Jordan set his pen on the table. "He didn't sign. What would you do if you were there? Sign the deal for profit or walk away for principle?" And when Jordan put down his pen, Charles realized he wasn't closing a deal. He was losing everything. Jordan's voice cuts through the chaos like a scalpel. Caldwell Holdings, he says evenly, no longer aligns with Pierce Tech's mission. The words hang heavy in the air. For a moment, even the waiters stop moving. Gasps rise. Reporters push forward, cameras flashing like lightning. Charles tries to recover, forcing a smile that trembles. "Mr. Pierce, we can fix this. She didn't mean—" Jordan looks at him, and cold, steady. "Exactly. That's the problem." Vanessa's face drains of color. "Wait, please, He interrupts softly. "You wanted attention. Now the world's watching." He turns, walking away as the sound of camera shutters fills the air. Behind him, the PR director's phone pings again and again, notifications exploding with the headline already trending. Pierce Tech withdraws $2.4 billion deal after Gala incident. Charles slumps into his seat, staring at the untouched contracts. Vanessa drops her wine glass. It shatters like their reputation. Jordan pauses at the elevator, adjusts his cufflinks, and says quietly to the stunned crowd, "Respect costs nothing. Losing it costs everything. The doors. Close. Silence. Share this if you still believe. Dignity is the highest form of power." But the final twist came the next morning, when, Jordan's silence became the story that changed. Everything. The next morning, financial news explodes. Caldwell Holdings loses $2.4 billion merger overnight. Stock prices tumble. Investors pull out. Charles cancels his interviews, phone ringing endlessly. Meanwhile, Jordan's company announces a surprise new partnership with Caldwell's biggest rival, a firm funding minority-owned startups. Headlines flash side by side: Wine Spill Scandal versus Pierce Tech backs Diversity Innovation Fund. Reporters replay the viral clip of the gala, not to mock, but to praise Jordan's calm restraint. Vanessa appears on morning television, reading a written apology. "I've learned that privilege without humility is just blindness." Jordan never comments. His silence becomes the loudest statement. Later that week, Maria, the janitor's daughter, walks into his office with a handwritten note. "You showed the world how to stand tall without shouting." Jordan smiles, framing the letter beside a new photo, the Gala wine stain pressed in glass, next to his first company blueprint. He looks out at the sunrise over the skyline, quiet, dignified, unshaken. Subscribe for more stories where calm justice speaks louder than revenge. What if the real power was never in the money, but in the moment you choose to walk away?